You're right. I know. It's a little bit early. But come tournament time, I'm telling you, man, I'm taking Arizona. I mean, they're on the juggernaut. Arizona Wildcats, they're going on the juggernaut. I mean, seriously, dude, have you been watching them? They'll be, what, number one seed in the West, number one seed overall, unless something drastically happens before now and then. I mean, geez, they're just... I got Wildcat fever, but brackets aren't out. We're not doing that yet. So, we had a little Alvin Lee 10 years after going this morning before the show started. Yo, baby, won't you let me rock and roll you, baby, won't you let me rock and roll you now? Do, 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 do. I'm not Alvin Lee, Andy. No. Little, Steppenwolf we had too. Second album I was playing, which is Magic Carpet Rides on the second album. So, Steppenwolf, Alvin Lee, what a good way to start Monday morning. And good morning, everyone. It is March 11th, and it's already in the 40s. You know, it's look out the window. Window's over there. Look out the window, and it's like, what, 40-something? Nice. And it's supposed to be nice all this week. Beautiful. No wind. It was windy this weekend, but, you know, flip-flop weather, Mandy? Maybe we could only hope, right? Right, we could only hope. Girls? All right. If you didn't know, this weekend we sprang forward. Boing. That's some conspiracy there, isn't it? I mean, come on. Weekends aren't fast enough as it is, all right? And then every spring, the government turns around. No, we got to do daylight savings time. We have to do it, you know. It's like we're going to save light. Doesn't really, we're going to move the hours around. And they screw us out of an hour over the weekend. So this weekend, when daylight savings time took effect, it screwed us out of an hour. You know, like I said, this weekend was an hour shorter. It's not like it comes in the middle of the night, you wake up, it's like, what the hell? Why is it this time? Clocks are all different. Dogs are not knowing when it's time to be fed. Feel like, what was it, Charlton Heston hanging out the window and at work. No, I'm not going to take it anymore. No doubt, man. What a tease. But again, it's Monday, March 11th. So, Andy, we got another Montana murder mystery, you say, we got going this morning. This was all on the desk this morning, and I did a little research this weekend. And after reading everything that I read about this whole story and this whole scenario, I really don't think that we don't know who did it. We just don't know where everything else is. We just don't know where the body is. There's cars. And, I'm jumping ahead of myself, but, Andy got this idea. You said they ran a story in the Helena paper just this past week. And Andy got it, and it crossed our desk, and it said, so we're going to do this. And so, I remember this going on, the posters. I remember this, but just on February 23rd, 1999. So that's 1999, 1, 2, 3. So what? 25 years ago. Wow. Sometime that morning now, okay, of the morning February 23rd, 1999. That would be, like I said, I saw posters, have you seen my daddy? And the guy was holding his kid. It was like just before the Y2K was happening. It was in the posters anyway, but anyway, it was last time that anyone would see a gentleman called Shannon LaBau, okay, Shannon LaBau again. He was 24 at the time, and a new father, and poof, he is just gone. Okay, he's poof, gone. And like I said, Andy, I remember this because it was a big deal everywhere because of the poster. This guy was like, 6'3", 240 pounds, big old blonde guy, there's this posters, he's holding his daughter. I saw the posters, which reminded me of the story, actually. He's, where's my daddy? And has anybody seen him? And they were all over Helena. They were here in Great Falls. It was on TV. In the newspaper, when the newspaper used to be a newspaper, and it was like this, but like I said, on February 23rd, 1999, it's just a little over 25. We're like, ran it last week. We didn't get it, so we're right in a good time frame here. And his car, just gone, okay? From Helena, Montana. And just like a blink of an eye, everything's gone, okay? So, Shannon LaBau is gone. He's missing. There's wanted to know information. Help me find them. They're everywhere in Montana. So let me explain what I've read, what I've discovered with everybody that's tuned in, and see what you think. Okay. So I got it figured out. I think the police have it figured out from the other. Anyway, not to jump ourselves ahead, and step outside and take a ride. Why am I singing Foghat? All I know is this 6'3", 240-pound, hulking, blonde, Thor-looking of a man just disappeared off the face of the earth. First of all, let me tell you a little bit about Shannon. Kind of an insecure guy. He was definitely, by all accounts that I've read, he was a mama's boy. Okay? Him and his mom were very, 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 very close. He came from a broken home. He had 5 siblings. His natural father was a Vietnam vet, drunk, abusive, flashbacks, post-traumatic stress, aggravated while he drank. Of course, he drank to medicate all the time. Shannon and one of his younger brothers attempted to go live with their father, and that was in South Dakota, Andy? South Dakota, North and South Dakota, okay? And South Dakota, eh? And, of course, guy was a drunk, he was divorced, not very good results. So, Shannon and his younger brother moved back to Montana, moved back to Helena area where they lived, and by high school, he was back living with his mother in Helena, and he was attending Helena High. Is it Helena High? Not Capital. Helena High School. Okay? When he was attending high school, he met a guy named Steve Rummel. Okay, he met a guy named Steve Rummel in high school who was going to high school with. Steve had a reputation. He was bully. He was a bully. Angry individual. He was abusive, some said, aggressive. He was definitely deceitful, getting in trouble with the law and the juvenile authorities. But Steve and Shannon were friends. Most people couldn't figure out why. Steve was, like I said, this big, imposing 6'8" giant of a man. Abusive. He'd get mad at Shannon if they were in the bar after, a little later on in their relationship. But the drinking age was 18 back then, so they were, And if Shannon didn't want to keep paying for all the drinks, Steve would get angry. Okay, so nobody could understand how or why these two guys became friends, but they did. Like I said, Shannon and Steve met at Helena High. Shannon graduated in 1994. Okay, so this event happened 4 years later, but Steve, from the reports, he did not graduate. No, okay, so that's what I thought. You didn't have it in here, but he did not graduate. Shannon did. He met a girl named Leslie, and then they had a baby. Okay, you got a new father. He had a really good job as a cook in a sports bar where he was well liked. You don't just disappear. Okay. A lot of when Shannon graduated, like I said, he met Leslie. One of the complaints that Leslie had was that he was still hanging out with Steve. Like I said, Steve was manipulative. He was bullying. He'd call Shannon names, okay, right in public, in front of each other, and Shannon would just kind of take it because like I said, he was meek. He was a mama's boy. He was not very assertive. The way that they bonded in high school was that they were trying to bulk up and lift weights, and that's how they bonded. Okay. They just didn't want to be an outcast, I would say. Andy, wouldn't you say that? To be that outcast, even though Shannon was a big man, he wasn't a bulky guy. He was like gangly in high school still. And so when they bulked up, it was helping with the self-esteem, but Steve was very abusive too, and that's why, like I said, nobody could get it. So, Shannon was a muscle car guy. Okay, that's what he did. He did the shop in the high school. He did muscle cars. He was like known around Helena for the muscle car dude that would help you with your car. Okay, that's how people knew Shannon was the muscle car guy. He restored his own Nova. He had a Chevy Nova restored, and he was always looking for a car to fix up, or someone to hang out with, or something like that. Okay, so cars were his baby, his weakness. Like I said, he had a good job at the sports bar. He had a new kid. Things are seems to be okay. But no. No, they're not okay, Andy. You're right. They're not okay. Shannon LaBau was seen for the last time. Okay, now we're telling you, February 23rd, 1999. There are posters everywhere. Okay, he was seen the last time around between 9 in the morning and 10 in the morning. He was around the 600 block of Kessler Street in downtown Helena, Montana. Security cameras catch him withdrawing over $3,000 from a Helena bank after he sold the Nova that we were just talking about that he restored. It's a black Nova. I've seen pictures of it when we were researching the story. I see pictures of it. And that's when he was last seen. The camera caught him. Okay? Now, why was he withdrawing? Okay. Why was he taking out that much cash? And rumors have it that he also had more cash on him. So why in God's name would Shannon LaBau need $5,000, $6,000, $7,000 on him? Well, from the investigation with the police department, reports of other people talking to family, okay, the reports, they say that Steve Rummel, okay, the best friend, sulky, hulking, abusive, 6'8" guy with a record, told Shannon LaBau that there was an old farmer who had a muscle car in a barn somewhere right around Townsend, which is 30 miles away from Helena, headed towards like Three Forks. And it was for sale. Isn't that convenient? The untrustworthy. Oh, I could take liberties, Andy. This is and it's opinion piece. This is my opinion. Isn't that convenient? Okay. And there's more, there's, okay. So that's the story beforehand. And there's so much, I know there's so much that just points to, okay. So he's like, la-di-da, this farmer's got a barn and it's got a muscle car in it, get a bunch of cash and let's go see it. Okay. 3 days before that, Steve Rummel is asking a friend of his if he could borrow a pistol because he's got to help a farmer shoot a cow. These are all reports that we got from police reports. You can all check this. This is all easy to find. This is really an easy story to research because there's done a lot on it. So Steve Rummel's asking for a gun 2 days before, 3 days before. He's for a farmer. He's going to shoot a cow, for a farmer. And then he's telling Shannon LaBau that, we're going to go to a farmer and get a muscle car. You're blaming farmers for everything. Farmer, even Steve Rummel admits that the farmer in later interviews raised his price, so Shannon wasn't interested because he didn't have enough money. And why does Steve say this? Why does Steve Rummel say this? Why in God's name would he say this? Well, he says this because he admits to being with Shannon the whole freaking the day of the disappearance. He was like, yeah, I was with him, la-di-da, we had brunch. We did brunch, we were going to brunch. He told people later in the day, and this isn't much later in the day, when Shannon, you remember, Shannon last seen around 9, 10 in the morning, and then later in the day, like lunchtime, he's already back in town saying, yeah, we didn't buy it. Shannon was, didn't have enough money, and, he told people that he dropped Shannon off at the Placer building, downtown Helena, and then he told other people he dropped them off at the Atlas building in Helena, and then he told some people he took them to Butte because Shannon was running for drug dealers because he owed them money, which was ludicrous. No, don't bring ludicrous in here. Which was ludicrous because Shannon didn't do drugs. Okay, everybody said he didn't do drugs. Well, why would he owe a drug deal? And then he even said, "Well, I took him to Billings." Shannon's never been seen again, and Steve. He's admitting that was with him the whole time. Now, Shannon LaBau's red 1976 Chevy Montana. It's a red Chevy pickup, Montana plate. We got it right here, 5T31420. It was a pickup truck. Apparently, that disappeared too, okay, along with Rummel. Along with Shannon. Now, Steve Rummel admits to being with Shannon the whole day he disappeared. He says to law enforcement, he told friends, he told family, he told everybody. Yeah, I was with him, but he's changed. Okay, he's reading this story, man, and he changed the story so many times. A million times. Yeah, everybody's got a different story. Now, yeah, it's just, I'm getting to that, but a million times he's changed his story. So, when he's lying and shit, he can't keep everything straight. I left him over here, I didn't see him. Immediately, and I mean immediately, like the next couple of days, right? Immediately after the disappearance of Shannon LaBau, Steve Rummel just started hanging out all of a sudden in the sports bar where Shannon LaBau worked as a cook. And he worked there on a daily basis. So Steve Rummel's showing up to a bar that he's never been, asking about the investigation, and everybody's noticed that he's got a bunch of brand new tattoo work, and he's a new guy asking about, what are the police doing about this guy? It's like, well, you're a suspect, moron. A little bit later, this happened, February, March 11th, so immediately after, like 2 days after the disappearance, he's in the bar asking questions. 2 weeks later, 3 weeks later, Rummel purchases a fairly expensive, for the time, ring for his girlfriend, a 10-carat Chanel diamond ring. Total cost was about $500. He paid cash. Come on, you guys. He has no money. And then he's got this story with, a farmer selling a car. He's trying to buy a gun. And all of a sudden people are pissing. The guy's money's gone. Steve Rummel even told Shannon LaBau's mother to lock up his trailer and go get his last paycheck. Why would he? Am I incredulous enough? law enforcement reports, when I start reading law enforcement reports and what law enforcement are saying, law enforcement's like he's almost bragging that he's concealing facts from law enforcement, and they can't figure out what it is. He's like having fun with it. Yeah, he's always just and having fun with it. I mean, he's like teasing law enforcement. You know, an officer said that Rummel was bragging that he wouldn't tell him anything, even if he did know. It's like, you know, they say he's like baiting him. It's like, I know my rights, you know, even if I did know, you could find them and blah, blah, blah. Okay? Now, you remember this happened in February, and then he's hanging out in the bar in February and March, and then he bought the girlfriend a ring in March, okay? First week of June, Rummel traded in the pickup truck that he owned at the time of Shannon LaBau's disappearance. And the authorities said, yeah, it was, cops went, picked it up. It's like it's freshly detailed, freshly cleaned. They took it back the next day. They didn't do the NCIS, CSI thing. A couple days later, that same truck that Rummel traded in was stolen off the lot. No broken glass, no sign of fucking forced entry or anything. It was like someone had kept another key, is exactly what they said. The VIN number on that truck was what? CK446F 479080? And that truck has never been found. In my opinion, this is so freaking obvious. The case has been treated as a homicide since day one. Rummel's the last one to see him. He's to see him alive. He came up with a cock and bull story of some muscle car that was for sale. He set Shannon up, killed him, spent the money, publicly spent the money buying tattoos, you know, $1,000 worth of tattoo. This is a broke guy that all of a sudden has got money for tattoo work, buying diamond rings, and he got rid of any evidence. Can you imagine? Can you imagine what kind of hiding spot he must have? He got 2 cars and a body. He's been in prison since all this for a rape charge in Boulder, Montana, and a weapons charge. Was been in federal prison. Didn't say a word. They offered him to let him deals. Didn't say a word. He's out living in Helena, Montana right now. In my opinion, of course he did it. I mean, look at all the, it's all circumstantial, but geez, you know, I got a truck, I got this, I got that, give me this. Went and made him, he went and watched him go to the bank, withdraw the money. Then they left town together, and then the other guy, then Rummel came back to town and he wasn't with him. He did it. No question in my mind. I know it's my opinion, but I still think, Andy, it's so obvious. It's an unsolved mystery. The only unsolved mystery is not who did it. You know, they got so much circumstance. They all have a body. They all have 2 trucks. So somewhere in a 45-minute, because he maybe didn't go to town, so he could have gone to Lewis. In a 45-minute radius of Helena, Montana, there's 2 trucks and a body somewhere. Those trucks have never been found. Neither is the body. Man, speaking of Helena, Andy. Speaking of Helena. Saturday night, woo-hoo-hoo. Saturday night, UFC 299. Miami. Nassau's gone funky, boo, boo, boo. Nassau's gone funky. Miami Sound Machine. All right? Suga Sean O'Malley. He defended his bantamweight title and avenged his only loss by just beating up Marlon Vera. I mean, he just beat the crap out of him. He beat him up for the unanimous decision across the board. God, it was just it was an absolute masterful, Andy. Pretty much, I said, he laid waste to Vera for 5 rounds, just beat him up straight. He out-hit, strikes his opponent, and this is just a staggering number here. His hits, strikes versus Vera, 280 to 85. Man, said he just pummeled him. I mean, he did. He just pummeled him. Oh man, and he showed up his timing and footwork. It's like, God, he just shined. I mean, he did. Like I said, it was a unanimous decision, but I thought that the fight was over in the second round when O'Malley's knee, he did the knee up in the middle and cracked Vera hard in the face. I mean, even O'Malley said post-fight he heard a bone break. It opened up a cut under Vera's right eye. That's when I thought that the fight was over. He took the win, took the fight out of Vera, and then he just beat him up the rest of the night. So, if you didn't realize what a great Montana fighter O'Malley is, if you didn't realize after the knockout of Sterling 7 months ago, then it's hard. It would be hard for you not to notice after the weekend. He's a bona fide superstar. The next superstar, they always compare him to Conor McGregor. Conor McGregor and Ronda Rousey, they were superstars, but you don't know how good Conor really was when he was in his prime. I mean, holy. Yeah, Sean makes Helena proud. Good fight. It was enjoyable to watch. Really good fight to watch. So, couple stories, Andy, out of Helena this morning. Murder mysteries and fighters. The Shannon LaBau story is available on most news sites. There's been a couple crime podcasts to it. I hope I did it justice. I know that Steve Rummel did it. Everybody does know, but knowing and proving are two different things. He's in the book. He's in Helena. Why don't you give him a call? Can we do that, Andy? Can we give him a call? We can. All right. So, Andy, we're done. We did Helena this morning. All right. Fighters and murderers. All righty then. All right. Andy's telling me we got to get out of here for the morning. So, checking out my list. Checking it twice. Got everything done. All right. Spay and neuter now. All right. Let's do that. Remember to adopt, don't shop. Foster, rescue, volunteer, go buy some dog food, cat food at Walmart, drop it off at the shelter, get involved. But hey, better yet, why don't you adopt a shelter pet today? Until next Monday, have a great week. We are out of here. We're out of here. See ya.